What's good, everybody? This is CP, and today I'm going to talk about the Vancouver Canucks. I'll take a deep look into what went down for the team so far this offseason. This includes their biggest free agency signings, and I'll also predict how things might pan out roster-wise, including potential trade candidates and how the Canucks roster might look like during the 2022-23 NHL season. For those of you unaware, Patrik Allvin and friends started things a little bit early before free agency this offseason, as they were able to lock up highly touted KHL UFA Andrei Kuzmenko for a potential bargain deal. The Vancouver Canucks signed Kuzmenko to a one-year entry-level contract worth $1.8 million and carries a cap hit of only $950,000. Now, in the end, the Canucks won the sweepstakes over the Edmonton Oilers, so which is a very good start for the offseason and a nice consolation prize. For those who don't know about Kuzmenko, he's coming off a breakout season. He posted a career-high 20 goals and 53 points in 45 games. So it'll be interesting to see if Kuzmenko can take his talents out west and if his offense can translate in the NHL. Personally, I see this deal go two ways. He could potentially come in and make an immediate impact and give the Canucks offense a nice offensive boost, as a result making this a super bargain deal with only a $950,000 cap hit. If Kuzmenko is the real deal, then the Canucks might actually have a pretty good problem on their hands, and this could possibly make a current top 6 winger on their team expendable. If that's the case, and if you were to ask me, I see an older name like Tanner Pearson be the first to go, but if push comes to shove, then maybe even a name like Connor Garland could also get moved as a result of promoting Kuzmenko higher up into the lineup. On the other hand, we can't forget that not all KHL players come over and exceed expectations. One guy that comes to mind is Nikita Gusev. A few years back, he was actually in the same boat as Kuzmenko and was a highly touted KHL player. He put up some amazing stats in the KHL for years. He came over, had an okay start to his NHL career with the Devils, then gradually faded and declined and eventually went back to the K. If Kuzmenko does become a Gusev 2.0, then the Canucks fan better hope Allvin does not re-up his contract and extend him too early. Otherwise, they might have another bad contract on their hands for years to come. Once again, only time will tell, but looking at things short term, only next season in particular, I give the Kuzmenko signing an A+ overall, because it is a very low risk deal with a lot of upside. What do you think about the Kuzmenko signing, and how would you grade it? Moving on, probably the biggest free agent signing for the Canucks this offseason is Ilya Mikheyev. He agreed to a 4-year with a 4.75 AAV contract with the Canucks. Obviously, this is a very good move for him to secure the bag, as he battled and got a nice contract to set himself very nice financially. Now, from the Vancouver Canucks perspective, I want to look at the pros and the cons of this deal. First up, let's go through the pros. Adding Mikheyev actually adds more speed to the lineup, which should help on the forecheck, battle for loose pucks, and his speed also probably makes him a very useful player on the PK. Mikheyev also produced pretty well 5-on-5 without any power play time, as he's coming off a career year with 21 goals and 32 points in 53 games. And yes, with only 1 point coming off the power play. So let's assume that the Canucks grow his role and give him some power play time. Maybe on the second unit. Could he be a 25 goal and a 45 to 50 point player? Quite possibly. Overall, I would say he's a very solid middle 6 winger add for the Canucks, with the ability to positively impact the game at both ends of the ice. Another intangible to this deal is that the Canucks are adding another Russian forward, which might be good for team chemistry, as he could help out younger players like Podkolzin and Kuzmenko to possibly become more comfortable at the NHL level, therefore having less pressure to produce. Now let's look at the potential cons of this Mikheyev deal. The elephant in the room is obviously the term and the AVV. Many Canuck fans tell me it's hard to defend, and I personally don't blame them, because 4.75 is a pretty big number, especially if he doesn't produce and become a 25 goal scorer or a 40 to 50 point guy. Then it's pretty hard to justify, and the contract could be very dangerous 2 to 3 years down the road, as it'll be very hard to move. At the same time, ask any Toronto Maple Leaf fan and they would tell you that Mikheyev wasn't a strong finisher for the longest time. He had struggled on many grade 8 opportunities for a couple of seasons before exploding for a 20-goal season last year. So if last year was just a one-off and he reverts back to his early NHL days, then this contract might be bad and make him a very, very expensive second or maybe even third line winger. Some Canuck fans might even make a pretty good argument where how much better value they're getting with Mikheyev over a name like Tanner Pearson. Pearson made $3.25 million last year and has been trending around 15 to 20 goals for years. Meanwhile, Mikheyev doesn't really have a track record of sustainability and is already making $1.5 million more than Pearson. So that's definitely one thing to keep in mind about this Mikheyev deal. On another note, the Canucks literally have no cap space left the last time I checked. They also have a player like Tucker Poolman on IR, but if he comes off, that's another $2.5 million they have to worry about. As a result, just looking at the cap and the contract situation alone, something just doesn't add up. There seems to be a logjam of top 6 to top 9 wingers on the team right now. So if I had to guess, something probably has to give, and trades are probably coming before the start of next season. As I mentioned before, Pearson or Garland might be one of the first players to go, but if not, maybe the JT Miller rumors are true and his 5.25 cap hit has to get moved just to relieve some cap space. And if JT Miller is gone, then his 30 goals and 99-point production is also gone. As a result, this puts even more pressure on a player like Mikheyev to produce. Finally, I'm a little bit confused about the logic behind this signing, because I honestly thought the Canucks were looking to go younger and be patient and give their younger players like Hughes, Pettersson, Podkolzin, and Höglander some more time to develop. So to me, adding Mikheyev, who is 27 at a 4.7 cap hit, doesn't make too much sense. Not only does he use up the team's cap space, but this move makes this team better today and probably gives them a little bit more pressure to win right now. So I don't quite understand the direction they're going. Is this the first step to an all-in move? Because from afar, that's what it kind of seems like to me. But to not write off Mikheyev completely, I think it's fair for Canuck fans to give him a fair shot. Maybe at least one season to see how things pan out. As I could be completely wrong about all this and he might turn out to be one of the better signings this summer. Who knows? Overall, I would give this signing a C+ for now, but maybe it could get upgraded later. How do you feel about the Ilya Mikheyev signing? Comment and share your thoughts below. I would definitely like to hear what the rest of the people think. Moving on, perhaps the second biggest signing for the Canucks this summer was locking up forward Curtis Lazar to a 3-year, $3 million deal with an AAV of $1 million. Overall, at $1 million per year, I can't really complain, and I think it's a fair AAV. In my opinion, Lazar was also one of the best fourth liners in this year's free agency pool. So to me, it was a huge dub for Allvin being able to land a guy like this. In terms of the deal, I feel like it comes with very little downside and risk. Many of you might know that Lazar is already a very proven fourth liner and should give the Canucks some help in the bottom 6. His play will probably also help improve the team's PK, which was one of the worst in the NHL last year. At the same time, he's a very decent forechecker and should make the Canucks a little bit harder to play against. Another underrated thing about Lazar is that he's a right-handed center, which is another plus for this signing because the Canucks have an overwhelming amount of left shot forwards, especially at the center position. So adding a right shot forward who can also play center gives them more options for offensive and defensive face-off schemes. If anything, the only knock on this deal might be the term, as some people may argue that it is 1 year too long, and 2 years for a bottom 6 fourth line player might be more ideal. But nonetheless, if Lazar's play does fall off, the Canucks can probably bury him in the minors with little cap consequences. Largely, I feel like this is a great signing by Patrik Allvin and friends, and I would personally give this signing a grade of an A. How about you? How do you feel about the Curtis Lazar signing? Do you think he's worth the contract? Or would you have gone after someone with a little bit different skill set? Yeah, so let me know if you agree or disagree with what I said in this video. Feel free to comment below and share some of your thoughts, and I'll see everybody next time.